welcome to another beautiful day in the Austrian Alps. Today is the day on which we are putting my new and prepared engine into my motorcycle. In case you're new here, I am swapping the engines on my Yamaha XJ6N because it had an accident where the gearbox is damaged to the point where it makes more sense to swap the engines rather than try and fix it. So, today we're putting in this new engine. Having transferred key components from the old engine, such as the starter motor, clutch cover with stator coil, and various other functional and aesthetic parts, we were hopeful for a smooth installation. First, we carefully positioned the engine under the frame and used a car jack to lift it into place. We also made sure to lay the chain on the front sprocket right away. Once the mounting points were lined up and all loose wires and hoses were correctly routed, we secured the front mounting nuts and inserted the rear mounting bolts. It took some wiggling and a third pair of hands, but once everything was aligned, we tightened all the mounting points and removed the jack. We've done it, the engine is back in the motorcycle, and now it's just about putting everything back the way it was. While David focused on the wiring harness and reinstalling the rubber components of the air induction system, I worked on the clutch actuator assembly. To ensure smooth clutch operation, we adjusted the cable tension at the handle for optimal sensitivity. Next, we connected the accelerator cable to the throttle body and tested its functionality. We continued by routing and plugging in electrical connections, being careful not to miss any sensors. I then moved on to reinstalling the side stand and footrest assembly, along with the shifter rod and side stand sensor, while David took care of the coolant reservoir and radiator hoses. Next, David plugged in all 4 fuel connector injectors that are responsible for supplying electrical power to the fuel injectors, allowing the ECU to control when and how long they open to deliver the precise amount of fuel needed for combustion. We made sure to connect them in the correct order, since mismatching them could cause serious issues. Fortunately, these were numbered, making it easier to keep track. After that, I attached the remaining radiator hose to the oil cooler
and reinstalled some metal plates that would later support the fairings.
Once I have this bike with a new engine up and running, what should I do with my broken engine? Give me some ideas in the comments down below.
Then came the exhaust system. Since it's supported by 2 brackets near the oil pan, we installed those first. To prepare for the exhaust, we applied some grease to the gaskets that connect the engine to the exhaust manifold. Bolts later, the exhaust system was installed and we could connect the oxygen sensor as well. Next up, some bigger components. I worked on installing the air filter on top of the throttle body, making sure it was properly seated and that the rubber boots formed a good seal by tightening the hose clamps. Meanwhile, David focused on the chain. He reinstalled the rear wheel and connected the chain to the rear sprocket, ensuring the axle was aligned correctly. He then adjusted the position of the wheel to set the correct chain tension, making sure it had the right amount of slack as per the factory specifications.
As you have just seen in the time-lapse, we have successfully put the engine into my motorcycle. We have also put in the exhaust system, the wiring harness, including almost all of the electrical connections. We have connected the chain on the front sprocket and put on the rear tire on the back. And we've made sure to put the chain on the correct tension. And we have put on the air filter. The last couple of components that we're going to put on my bike before we can attempt to start it are the fuel tank as well as the liquids. So we're going to put in oil and cooling liquid, and lastly we'll put in the battery, and then we will test and see if this was a success.
The first fluid to go back in was fuel, which meant reinstalling the tank. We prepped the fuel line and electrical connectors before positioning the tank and fastening its rear bolt. Once the fuel breather lines were routed and everything was plugged in, we did a final check to ensure no connections were left unplugged before securing the fuel tank in place. Moving on to the oil, I took your advice and chose against reusing the oil from my old engine, because even though it had only been in the engine for about 50 kilometers, it comes from a broken engine and should therefore not be reused. Instead, we opted for this fully synthetic 10W40 from Liquimoly. We measured the recommended 2.8 liters of oil in small buckets and poured it in. The last fluid was coolant. We used a liter of Prestone and topped it off with soft tap water to reach the manual's recommendation of 2.25 liters for the entire system. With all the fluids filled, the last missing component was the battery. Having charged it a few days prior, we installed it under the seat and took a moment to go through the entire installation one last time, ensuring nothing was forgotten. Everything was plugged in and no extra bolts were lying around. My bike was finally ready.
Everything is set. The bike should be ready to start with no issues. All liquids are in there, the battery is in and charged, all electrical connections are fixed. Everything should be perfect. We have also manually turned the engine and in the highest gears, and that works, and all gears engaged. So let's just start it and see if this reinstallation has worked.
This was it, the moment of truth. Will the engine start? I would be lying if I said I wasn't nervous, and my mind was racing as I was reliving the whole assembly to make sure we had not forgotten about anything. But here goes nothing. I turned the key to ignition and the bike powered on without any warning lights or check engine signals. It was in neutral and still lifted on the rear stand to allow for free wheel rotation. Let's start it.
Okay, you do it. No feel yet?
Probably not.
Nothing, just a click from the starter relay. We pondered the issue and ran the engine swap through our minds, but couldn't think of anything we might have missed. So we decided to charge the battery overnight and try again the next day. A night of charging the battery later, I couldn't wait to see the bike finally start up. Back in the garage with the battery installed and everything ready, I turned the ignition and hoped for the best as I pressed the starter button. Success! The new engine is running, and beautifully so. Turns out, the issue wasn't the battery at all. I simply needed to pull the clutch lever while starting. Since the engine had been sitting for a while, it wasn't enough for the gearbox to just be in neutral. With the bike still on the stand, we tested shifting through all the gears and let the engine warm up. A bit of white smoke rose from the exhaust, which worried me at first, but David reassured me that it was normal for an engine that had been dry for so long. With the engine running, it was time to put the last few pieces back together. We installed the fairings, side skirts, brackets and seat, as well as making final adjustments to the gear shifter sensitivity. After months of work, my Yamaha XJ6N was finally back together and running. It had been a long journey, but the hard work paid off. I'm beyond excited to hit the road again and enjoy this bike in the upcoming riding season. Stay tuned for the next video, in which we will go for the first test ride.
As you just saw and heard, it was a success. The engine is running beautifully. We had a little bit of smoke in the beginning, but it quickly settled after we got it up to temperature. I am really satisfied and happy, and I hope I will see you again when I take this bike for a test ride in spring. It's been 6 months since this bike had the accident, and now finally it is up and running again. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.